It's me, Matthew the Marbler, 2442. You know, I put a lot of thought into that name. Matthew, which is my internet name, is 7 letters, just like my real name, which you don't get to know. The descriptive Marbler is also 7 letters, and serves mainly as a reference to marbles, which will always be my favorite thing I've ever made on YouTube. The word the and the numbers together are another 7, and counting the special characters, you get 24 in all, one of my favorite numbers, which is also included in the username, right here. The other number is just 24 backwards, making the numbers a palindrome, but is also a reference to one of the greatest book series of all time. Shout out if you get the reference. I was originally going to do this video unscripted, but I decided that I would instead structure my send-off in the best way I know, the way all of my most popular videos are made, with a script in Google Docs. My object-cited video and sequel, that BFDIA video, and obviously all my object show content, those are all made exactly like this. You know, my channel has always been fairly unstable. I think, if I can remember, I managed to keep my weekly schedule, the maintenance of which had always been my goal, for all of my run from the creation of my channel on June 11th, 2021, to May or June of the following year, aside from a 4-week break in August. Then I lost all motivation thanks to the complications of Cappy Phase 1. A lot of you are here because of Cappy, and you all remember how that went. Not great. I uploaded one video at the end of June, or beginning of July, then took a full break and came back refreshed in September. I took a planned leave in December to secretly plan some bigger projects, although I ended up spending actually all of that time just doing regular schoolwork. And then I started back strong in January. There were a couple of bumps along the way, but I managed to basically get back on track. Then it happened. What If You Couldn't Switch in BFDIA was released on April 17th, 2 days later than my promise of a video every Saturday. Since it was somewhat BFDI related, I decided to casually mention it on the BFDI Discord, figuring I might be able to share it with a few dozen extra people than usual. That video, by the time you're watching this, probably will have over 50,000 views. It's the most watched thing I have ever made, which feels really great considering I cheated to get it there. Yes, I call advertising my videos cheating. When I realized I had more of an audience than ever, specifically more BFDI fans, I decided it was time to go for the big one. I had been thinking about doing an analysis of Pilly, a character from an object show called Battle for Teardropia, for a while, and now is the perfect time to do it. Upon devising the original concept, I discovered I was on the brink of my biggest project yet. Little did I know that that was definitely a bad thing. I spent a full week scripting and recording the whole thing. This was a lot longer than I was planning to do that, and I was forced to release a filler video to give me a week to edit. It did not take a week to edit. The week of April 30th to May 5th, I spent all of my time editing this 45-minute monstrosity. I edited it in all of my free time. I edited it in class. I edited it when I was supposed to be sleeping. I would not stop. Still, I basically only got through the first 5 minutes. At this rate, I could not get this project done in a reasonable amount of time. Then came Friday night. Because school and Sunday church limited my sleep-in days, my parents agreed I could stay up as late as I wanted on Friday nights, then sleep in until noon on Saturdays. This seemingly endless time to do whatever basically became my crunch time for YouTube videos, and I would be pretty confident in saying that every single one of my videos that actually released on Saturdays had some, if not most, of their content worked on the previous night. So when it came to the Pilly project, that Friday night was my chance to make up for lost time, my one shot at actually finishing it. I opened up my computer earlier than usual, at only 7:30, and I was ready to work. Except I wasn't. I opened YouTube to try and get myself motivated to start editing. What happened instead was a full night of staring at my computer screen, videos automatically playing whether or not I was even still conscious. When I came upstairs for brunch at 12:30 the next day, I had wasted a full 17 hours of my life, of which only about 5 were spent with uninterrupted sleeping. I hadn't even opened the editing file. I could not possibly explain to you how upset I was for those 17 hours. Upset at myself. I had failed. That was what killed the Pilly video, and my entire channel with it. I had lost all motivation for YouTube entirely, a sentence I would never believe I could truthfully say even a few weeks prior. That was it. I was done. I had actually pretty much decided right then and there that I was completely through with YouTube. That if I couldn't even finish a single video anymore, that I didn't deserve to make content. But I didn't feel like telling anyone, didn't even feel like opening my channel. I still haven't touched my notifications since. And apparently, as of writing this, I have 223. I've gained another 10 up to the time when I'm recording this. I'm very sorry if you left a comment since May 6th. I've never seen it, nor will I ever respond. In fact, it wasn't until the recent Nintendo Direct that I was inspired to make this video. Sorry, it wasn't quite the Nintendo Direct, but rather a video about it made by a content creator I watched. He started out as a random dude who popped into my recommended and whose style I really enjoyed. But after watching most of their videos, I discovered they had mysteriously disappeared almost a year prior, and so I, sadly, had to move on. But suddenly, this past weekend, Sea of Gaming returned out of nowhere with a new video, just like his old ones, discussing the new Mario game from the Nintendo Direct I mentioned. At the end, he put a 6-minute discussion about his break, and one thing he said hit me in a way nothing else I've ever heard on this entire website has. Play for you.
Having two different types of content that not your entire audience enjoys is a very, very bad idea on YouTube.
This hit me hard because that's exactly what I have been trying to do with my own content for 2 years. My channel has always been my place to do stuff I want to do. I think of myself as not being interested in algorithmic growth, instead caring only for what I want to do. If I want to make a Minecraft video, I make a Minecraft video. If I want to do object show stuff, I'll drop an episode of Marbles, or maybe BFSM. This basically led to me leading 2 different lives, one as a gaming channel, and one as a member of the object show community. And I didn't mind this. It was what I wanted to do. And the algorithm could do whatever the heck it wanted to do with my videos. I didn't care. But somewhat paradoxically, I still wanted some people to see this awesome stuff I was putting out. Can't be helped with that, but the massive popularity of my BFDIA video in particular really made me think about actually becoming a big channel maybe. I'm pretty sure that Matthew the Marbler 2442 now has over 500 subscribers. Wouldn't it be cool if I could make it more? This insight from Steve finally burst the... Oh, come on. Sorry about that. My dad came down the stairs and interrupted the recording session he doesn't know I'm doing. I would really love to edit that out, but as you might be able to tell by now, I really don't want to do anything with this channel, so I guess that's still in... Okay. Where was I? This insight from Steve finally burst the widening gap between these two contradictory thoughts that I had in my head about my YouTube channel. I realized how annoyed I was by Steve's inexplicable disappearance and those of other content creators I watched, some of which still haven't come back. So in order to not become that which I hated, I decided I needed to make this video and officially declare my departure from YouTube. I am still really proud of all the content I've made on here, and I'm so saddened to be forced to cancel such projects as Marbles and Cappy. Actually, I can't just leave Marbles where it is. I need to go back and talk about it for a bit. Marbles was a reboot of a show I made on my Scratch account called The Marbles, which I started on August 22nd, 2018. In the 2 years of its run on Scratch, it went through 2.5 seasons with a spin-off sideshow teased but never started. All of this is still available on my Scratch account, _coding_master, and I would recommend you check it out if you're interested in more Marbles content, even if some of it's not that good. Speaking of, Marbles was actually originally set to release on the Marbles 3-year anniversary, being Sunday, August 22nd, but delays, because of course there were delays, led to me pushing it back to September 11th. I am very, very, very proud of Marbles and refuse to let it die, but unfortunately, I'm worried I might lose some of you if I go into it in detail, so I'll just say that white was going to be eliminated in episode 7, black in episode 8, and the winner would have been brown in episode 9, with pink in second, gray in third, then green and red. As you can clearly see, I still love Marbles, as well as all of my other content. In fact, I don't think I regret making any of my videos, except maybe that one Sporkle Geography livestream. Rather, the mistake lies in the making of the YouTube channel itself. If there's any lesson you take from the saga of Matthew the Marbler 2442, I want this channel to serve as a warning to those thinking about starting their own YouTube channels. You should know what you're getting into, because I sure as hell didn't. I think that's the first time I've ever sweared on this YouTube channel. That's funny. But there's another lesson I could share from this, something even bigger than that. It's the dangers of YouTube itself. This is less about my actual channel, but I think it's still important for me to tell here the story of my time as a consumer on YouTube as opposed to a creator. I have always loved YouTube, and I attribute that to the fact that the stream of content is infinite. You can never get bored with YouTube. However, this seeming advantage turned out to be more of a downside than anything else. But for me to elaborate on why, I need to discuss the ways in which I spend my free time. The problem has never been this channel. I had always loved the content I made on this channel, and with the single exception of animating, it was never drudgery or forced. But the fact that I worked on this channel at all put a huge strain on another aspect of my life which some might not even consider: free time. Between school, homework, my YouTube channel, and other things that took up time, like, eating, I have almost always had, and still do have, very little free time. Especially this year, when, if you don't know, I entered high school and decided to immediately join all the extracurriculars. Here's what my typical day of grade 9 looked like. 7 hours would be spent at school, with roughly an additional hour on either side for extracurriculars. I also live very far away from my school, and it's an hour each way by bike or bus to get there. Let's say dinner took an hour to eat, and breakfast was typically around half an hour. I would also have some non-school extracurriculars in the evenings, leftovers from my elementary days when I needed other ways to fill my time, which happened almost every day and ran for maybe an hour and a half. Somewhere in this schedule, I might get an hour to work on my YouTube channel. Note that these are all very rough estimates. That leaves only 9 hours in my day, which could be considered free. Note that I left sleep out. I did that on purpose. I heard somewhere that eating disorders occur when people, particularly teens, feel they have no control over their lives, so they choose to focus on eating, which they feel is the only thing they can control, and then make wildly unhealthy decisions. Well, with 15 hours of my day doing work I very much enjoy but still work, I believe I ended up cultivating an equivalent sleeping disorder. Yes, this is probably a real term for other things, but I'm trying to make a parallel here. Since the time I was supposed to be sleeping was the only time in my busy schedule where I could just do whatever I wanted, I would end up treating it as free time and spend quite a bit of it doing things I shouldn't have been doing, mostly watching YouTube videos. My parents and I have gone back and forth on how much I've been using my computer, but I ended up staying up on my computer for pretty much the entire school year, and even a bit after it. I wrote this at 11 p.m. on a Monday night, after all. This is why I couldn't finish the Pilly video. Not because I didn't like doing it, but because of how frequently I was working on it, and that it now felt like work. So when it came to my Friday night free time, the last thing I wanted to do was more work. I subconsciously preferred wasting 17 hours on something I didn't even want to do over doing the same work I had been spending on the entirety of the previous week on. This is actually probably the first time I've really thought about those 17 hours, and it feels really good to understand what was going on. But, anyways, I have too much stuff to do and waste all the rest of my time on YouTube. Here's my solution. I love all the things I'm doing with my time, and really don't want to drop any of them. So I'm going to try something else first. I'm not just quitting my YouTube channel. This is my announcement for quitting YouTube in general. After today, I'm closing this website and never looking back. I am done. My hope is the lack of infinite content will allow me to get better sleep and maybe improve my overall mental health by allowing myself to be a decent human being during the day. I guess we'll see on that one. I wouldn't say I'm advocating doing this. After all, if I was, YouTube would probably delete my video before I uploaded it. But maybe if you're having similar problems to me, pause the video and consider it for a sec. Then keep watching, because there's some good stuff at the end. So, I guess this is finally goodbye. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, probably like 20 minutes or something. But I've now hit the conclusion and we'll be wrapping things up. First off, if I'm never opening YouTube again, I can no longer support my absolute favorite content creators monetarily via ad revenue. So I'm going to shout out my absolute top picks right now. My very first subscriptions were Minecraft Iron Axe and Mumbo Jumbo, and both of them have heavily inspired the types of content I've made, YouTube or Scratch, for the past 5 years. Professional ranter Exurb 1A, it's spelled EXURB the number 1A. It's either pronounced Exurbia or Exurb 1A, and I have never had the time to ask. But anyways, he's definitely one of the best YouTubers out there. And Bill Wirtz, creator of History of the Entire World, I guess, is still around and makes some pretty dang good music. There are also a few creators who I will be continuing to follow on Nebula, a creator-run streaming service with less infinite content than YouTube, namely Sam from Wendover, Real Life Lore, Sam from Math is Interesting, Bobby Broccoli, that guy who did the really cool documentary about that fake element, and Sam from Jetlag the Game. I don't think I need to shed out all the big object shows I really enjoy. Obviously, I'm into BFDI and Inanimate Insanity. Who isn't? But my other top picks would include Paper Puppets Take Two, Animated Inanimate Battle, whatever animation object show is doing now. And one thing I forgot to include in the script is Battle for Teardropia, which was going to be the subject of my video on Pilly. Smaller mentions go to YouTubers Desbug, Alan Becker, PM Seymour, and within the OSC, Carrie KH, who's not really part of the OSC, but whatever, and D. Casey, whose object shows Boost and Bro are doing the Teapot split way better than Teapot ever could. My last two shoutouts go to my real life friend Enhanced Robot, who may return to YouTube when he finishes making a video game about vending machines, and Jan Measley, my absolute favorite content creator on this website, and the inspiration for the I can just do whatever I want with my YouTube channel mentality. As for my content, I couldn't recommend Marbles enough, and I still love BFSM, although my friends tell me it's absolute trash. My Minecraft Let's Play isn't half bad, even though I am really, really bad at Minecraft, but I couldn't say the same for my many attempts at streaming. I think the only thing my live streams are good for is they might accidentally expose my personal information. Oops. Now I have to thank every single person who has ever watched any of my content, especially those watching this video right now. Whether you discovered me through Object Sided or Cappy, or just a few months ago with my BFDIA video, I am so glad you got to see some part of the stuff I make and share with the world. Unfortunately, I will not be responding to any comments on this video, and also will not be active on any Discord servers pertaining to the stuff on this channel. Speaking of, Cappy contestants. You guys have been the longest and largest supporters of my content, here and on Scratch, since Cappy was first announced in January of 2022. Hosting Cappy was one of the most monumentous experiences of my time on YouTube, and one I will likely look back on for many years. However, in the background of the show, Cappy has always secretly been a burden. Whether it's the one episode week plan for Phase 1, which I definitely did not stick to, the persistent complaints at how confusing Phase 2 was, or how long episodes 10B, 11A, and 11B took. I am definitely never coming back to my YouTube channel, and although I might return to Scratch at some point, I think it's finally time I just go out and say it. Cappy is cancelled. I well and truly am sorry. Despite all the difficulties with the show itself, though, a certain number of you stuck with me, consistently watching and commenting on my content, even if not Cappy related. You all have no idea how much your small actions have changed my life, and it felt like we were actually a community for quite a bit of time. I remember the creators of Default Scratch Avatar, T3F, yes, I'm going to keep pronouncing it that way, Hood, Photo Negative Pin, Paint Tool, and Dynamite especially well. You all hold a very special place in my heart, and I will not forget our time on the Cappy Discord, which, by the way, only came to be thanks to the dedicated work of Cappy contestants PSP and DSA. And an especially large shout out to Fen9999, creator of Pixel, with whom I felt an especially strong connection. In fact, he actually reached out to me directly through a Discord DM a few weeks ago to check to see if I was okay after I stopped chatting in the Cappy server. Even though I didn't respond, I was very touched by the genuine concern for my well-being, maybe even more concern than I had for myself at the time. So, thank you. In fact, Pixel, I'm going to hereby declare you the winner of Cappy for understanding the ultimate lesson. The face behind the show is a person, too, and sometimes that person needs some help of his own. I don't think there's any better note to leave it on than that. Thank you all for watching this video and any other of my content that you've seen. And I hope you have an amazing day, week, month, year, life. Goodbye.